Hello and welcome to Jessie James Beads. How are you doing today? It must be Tuesday because I'm here. My name is Jem and I work with wire and gemstones and beads and lots of Jessie James Beads love. We are sharing a bit of a sneaky preview of a brand new collection today. It's a collection of two halves in my mind. I think if you know me, you know that I love all beads. I love all jewellery making, but I have a bit of a soft spot for gemstones, as does Joey, apparently. He's saying hello from the back room just there. So good morning if you are on the East Coast, and good afternoon if you're with me in the UK, and welcome to Jessie James Beads. I would like to pop you down to the board right now so that I can share with you our brand new collection. Let's just switcheroo that camera over. If you can see me, then give me a quick shout. Say hello. Hello, Katney is in. Hello, my darling. How are you? Hello. I hope that you are having a beautiful day today. So we have a couple of brand new shares for you today. Just going to close that door up slightly so Joey can talk to himself for a hot minute there. Let's have a look at some of the gorgeous Magic Emporium. I'm just going to pop this on here and then I want to share some thoughts with you. So if you imagine shelves filled with gem-toned connectors, look at these things of beauty. These gorgeous earring post forms. Now, I love wearing earrings of all kinds, whether it be post or whether it be wire. These are fabulous because you could wire directly onto these with your favorite beads or gemstone beads as well. So we have uniquely shaped glass beads, gleaming stone treasures, enchanting findings. Look at this. This really caught my eye. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be telling you this. Hello, Natalie. How are you? This is a screw barrel on the end there. And then you can use that to connect. It's so pretty. Really gorgeous tones there. I hope they're coming through. Gorgeous jewel tones there. Hello, Betsy. How are you today? These are absolutely fabulous. They, to me, are the colour of a gorgeous London topaz. What beautiful shimmery shapes and shines. I've got rose quartz colourway. I've got a very delicate morganite hue. I've got a peach tone there. Could be peach aventurine colourway. Different sizes and shapes to play with. Absolutely in love with these earrings, though. Definitely going to be working with those very soon. I'd love to show you a little bit more. With each bead and bauble, you'll feel like a kid again, wandering down aisles. Ooh, here comes the next strand, and what a strand that is. Look at those gorgeous beads. How beautiful are they, and what a glorious sound that makes. It's like blue skies and fluffy white clouds in a strand. Beautiful. These are made to set your imagination on fire, allowing you to craft pieces as one of a kind as the dreams that inspire them, and in my heart as one of a kind as you are. Check these out. It's almost like a little flutter of pastel petals. How beautiful are they? So I'm sharing a little bit of a sneaky preview of Magic Emporium. I've got two glorious bicone strands to share with you. I love the blue tones as well. Aren't they stunning? Don't you think that they would look magnificent teamed with these London blue-esque two loop connectors? They are gorgeous. These are fabulous as well because they're two-tone, so they're like half coated, but they're also a twist. So they're not a bicone, but they're a twisted step faceted round, which gives you acres and acres of wiggle room stylistically. So many different ways that you can design with those babies. I have also got rock candy. That's my kind of candy. So in this collection that's already dropped, and there's more to come, I've got 3mm beads in rondelles, rounds and cubes. You can see there's a gorgeous pair of garnets there. There is the forest colour quartz. I've got aventurine. I've got my favourite gemstone in the whole world right here. labradorite. Ah, it's magical. Look at it showing you its Labrador essence. Very, very special gemstone treats coming up very, very soon. Some of these are already on the website and some of them are due out very, very soon. For the earrings that we're going to be working with today, I have chosen 4 different gemstones from the gorgeous rock candy. I can't help but touch them. Now, this is a red jasper. It's absolutely stunning, and every single stone will be completely unique. Good morning, Sarah. Now, this piece here is sometimes referred to as black labradorite. Sometimes it's called Norwegian moonstone or Norwegian labradorite. Its true name is larvikite. It was initially discovered under a huge chunk of ice in Larvik in Norway, hence the names that it receives. But black labradorite is the name that it goes by with us. That huge sheet of mica reflection there is just awe-inspiring, taking you on creative adventures. These are unikite. We've got ovals and we have pairs. Be a rebel, set it that way. Doesn't have to set that way. Little bit of a sneaky peek for you as well. Might be setting one of these for you on YouTube very, very soon. We have got some absolutely outstanding. Another one of my top 5 gemstones. This is amethyst. True purple gorgeousness. It's regal, it's divine. And then we have opalite. Whilst not a gemstone, it does capture the imagination because it gives you the most beautiful shimmer. Really, really gorgeous pieces there, all from rock candy. Good morning to Sarah. How are you, my darling? So that is rock candy right there. That's not everything because there is more to share. But I do have them slightly under control in little bags because otherwise I shall drop them everywhere. I think we're all very familiar with how many times I get the dropsies or send things flying. So this is a pink quartz, multi-tonal, absolutely gorgeous, and will go on your 22 gauge wire as well, which is what I'm going to be using in a little while to share some earring ideas with you. Colleen, hello, my gorgeous girl and beautiful friends. How are you today? Thank you for joining us. So I've got pink quartz. That's the 3mm rounds, even rhymes. I sound like I'm Tim Curry in the Rocky Horror. If you've never seen it and you're not easily shocked, give it a watch. It's lots of fun. It's the same age as me, I think. So that's your pink quartz, 3mm rounds. This is your emerald color quartz. I was incredibly drawn to this strand, so it's why I've chosen to work with this amongst others today. Now, this one is described as cat's eye apatite. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so fresh and vibrant, as feisty as this is. But I did just want to share with you also these glorious cubes. I don't think these have dropped just yet, so whoopsie, but also sneaky peek. So I'm going to be working with a handful of those today as well. Before I take these away, I just want to remind you that these treasures are coming very, very soon under Magical Emporium. Magic Emporium, if you actually want the correct description. I'm calling them magical because they are. Look at those. And look at this especially. What a glorious strand. These are so light and beautiful to work with. Oh, is that a stone bead? Oh, that's dyed blue tiger's eye. That is immense. That is super exciting. Those are gorgeous. Might be working with this strand later on tomorrow. Maybe. So here is some of your Magic Emporium. Have a listen. I do love the sound of beads. But just before I whiz these away, the technique I'm going to employ today to wrap some beads onto some forms for 2 types of earrings on our live today could be employed on these little frames as well. They are gorgeous. So if you have clients or if you yourself prefer to have ear posts rather than ear wires, some people don't like the sensation. I will wear pretty much anything in my ears just like that. Those would be amazing with the technique we're using today. They are all absolutely Stunning. Very, very happy to have that drop on my mat on Monday. Let's pop those out of the way and show you the two types of earrings that we're going to make together today. So slightly more diminutive, but very elegant, as requested by our beautiful Sarah. We've got some hoop earrings for you. Good morning to Ohio, Kim. How are you today? And good morning, Amy Paula. They are stunning beads, are they not? Absolutely gorgeous. So I've got a little handful of those pink quartz 3mm rounds. I've also got some ever useful little golden beady beads, beads. And then I'm going to be using some of these slightly larger cubes as well. You could use whichever you fancy from that rock candy collection. How glorious are those colours all mashed up together. See, now I couldn't decide which one to use, so I used all three on this hoop and then went for a glamorous, elegant, deep pink and gold on here. So I'm going to be using a round form to help me out today. You could use a pen, a marker pen, if you want to go for the slightly smaller ones, or you could use a ring mandrel. If you're using a ring mandrel and you want to make matched earrings, just pop a little pencil mark on it so that you know exactly whereabouts you make the form, and then you won't struggle with two different sized pieces at the end of the day. I'm also using some lovely little ear wires from Beadalon. Now these are safety ear wires, so they have a little hook at the back, which means that once you put them in, you don't lose them. I have a client in particular down near London, and she loves to use only safety ear wires. She says she's klutzy. I don't think that that's the nicest word, but there we go. So I'm going to start off by making the hoop. Now the hoop is exactly the same in both techniques. It's just that one is slightly larger than the other, and one of them has the beads directly loaded on, whereas the other has the beads wound around the outside. So I shall show you both techniques, and I'll show you them both about the same size, purely because I don't want to repeat the same thing over and over again and have you get bored of me. That would be very, very poor. So I'm working with an 18 gauge round wire. This one is a silver coated medium temper. It's quite firm and springy. Just going to give it a little bit of warmth just to make sure that that's nice and smooth and pliable and ready to work. Beautiful harvest palette, says Colleen. Colleen, are you a member of the Magical Mystery Bead Box Club? Because the October 2024, if you're into autumnal or fall palettes, well, that is a box that you might like to check out. So let's give that a smooth and a warm. And what I'm going to do is rotate the wire around my round form. Now you can make this as big as you like. So if you wanted to make absolutely giant hoops, where is the thing I'm thinking of? It's over the other side of the universe, obviously. Beautiful round block here, which is for making bangles purportedly. You could use one of those to make the large size earrings. That would be absolutely magnificent. So when your wire is springy like mine is today, it will ping away from the round form. So let's just go scooch. Make sure that's nice and tight on the form that you're using. And I've got a longer tail and a shorter tail. Now I started off with around about an 8-inch length of that 18 gauge wire. If you're making much larger earrings, you'll need slightly more. If you're making diminutive earrings, that's about right. You can always use offcuts. So I've just turned a hard bend on one of those longer lengths, on the longer side rather. What we're going to do is put a little bit of warmth into that shorter end and then draw that all the way around so that you get a nice hook effect. So looking at it from above, you've got the wire that has the slightly longer length coming up and away, and then the slightly shorter length is wrapping around. Sarah says, love starting the day with Jem wire wrapping. Every class with Jam is always a treat. I called myself Jam then, did you notice? Do you know what? I've been called all sorts over the years on the internet. Usually it's polite, not always. I often get called Jen or Jim. I don't think I look like a Jim. The wooden mandrels that Jem is using are available, and there's a link in the comments. So do have a look. That's on Facebook. Have a look on the Facebook comments on this video and you'll see where you can get these mandrels. So what I've done is I've just pinched up ever so slightly. I'm going to draw that all the way around, and I think probably we will go for 3 wraps. And we're working on this design to begin with. Good morning, Stephanie, to you. How is your day? How's the weather? Where are you watching from? So I've wrapped 3 times around that core that's coming up and away, and I'm going to trim just that little tail away. Now you can see there's about 1.5 inches of wire here, so we didn't need all of that 8 inches at all, but that will still be used at a point in time. It'll sit in my scrap pot until I need a little bit of wire, just like that. Now we're going to make sure that that tail is tucked down, nice and neat, and we'll spin the flat sides of the pliers against that wire in the same direction. The wire's travelling over the top. The end is cut. So we pop the pliers on and we're very, very softly just rotating the pliers around. And now there's no sticky uppy bit, which is always good news. So you can leave the mandrel in position whilst we add a bead up at the top if you like. So I am going to borrow one of these. I should have got another one out, but I know where the bag is. It's not a problem. So I'm going to highlight the top of my larger hoop earring with one of these beautiful cube beads. They're about 4.5, 5 mil, I want to say. In need of some wire? JJB Black Friday deals include wire. That's good news. That makes me happy. So I'm going to grip across that post coming out the top of the design, push that over to the side. So that's in the same orientation as the earring itself. So if I drop it down to the desk, you can see that that all fits together. So I now need to grab a round plier. Round nose pliers, you can use your bail makers or your memory wire finishing pliers. I'm just going to create a little bit of a hoop, a little bit of a loop up at the top, teeny tiny one I think today. Draw that all the way around. Ideally, we want that to sit nice and neat at the top. And then I'm just going to give that loop a little bit of a strengthen. So grab, squish, making sure you're not crushing the wire that is crossing over itself and pulling that all the way around. Now you'll see that that was super easy to achieve because we warmed that wire first. This is quite a springy wire I'm working with today. And there's another inch of wire useful for another project. And we will just make sure that that cut end is smoothed down in exactly the same way by rotating those pliers around. So there's your main earring form. Really, really easy. Again, you can ring the changes if you want one on a post by checking out the Magic Emporium for these little beauties. So I'm now going to grab in some 22 gauge wire. You could use 24 gauge if you prefer, or even 26. I like to use the 22 gauge for 2 reasons. One, I'm showing off the quality of the beads that we're working with. These are gemstone beads, and it fits on the wire beautifully. How cool is that? Lots of little beads have teeny tiny drill holes, and it's really annoying. So I don't know if you can see, but I've got the wrong side of the flush cut there. So I'm just going to trim that end away, making sure I've got a nice soft cut on the end there. And what we're going to do is wrap 4 times around the hoop that we've just created. So I'm leaving around about 1/2 inch over the top of that hoop, and I'm starting near one corner or one side, as it were, one shoulder, starting off by wrapping around a couple of times, and then I'm going to grab my pliers. Because we're working with a 22 gauge wire, it's quite springy and pokey. We don't want it springing and poking our fingertips because, let's be honest, my fingers look bad enough already. So I'm just helping with the pliers, gripping firmly with my non-dominant hand so that I can bring that tail all the way around and get it to sit down neatly on that hoop. Again, we will make sure that there's no sticky uppy bits. I'm sure you'll hear that in your sleep if you watch me enough. It's chilly in Northern California. How is it in Colorado today? Where are you in the world and what's your weather like? I'm just compressing that little spring up to make sure it looks nice and neat and tidy. Give that a little bit of a smooth and then push it all the way up to the neckline section of your hoop earring. So this is a beautifully mindful technique. The demonstration piece, let me just pop this down for a moment and allow me to share with you these beautiful gemmy goodness. These beautiful gemmy goodness, this beautiful gemmy goodness, whichever is correct, I don't know. Sarah's in Colorado where it's sunny and bright, snow on the ground, lots of sun. That sounds like hot tub weather to me. So I use the pink quartz, the emerald colour quartz, and the cat's eye apatite colourway. I think they look smashing together, but you can use whichever colours you like. Southern Texas is in the mid to high 80s. Oh my goodness, my bones hurt. I want to be in Texas. Katney's in Oregon, wet today. You can definitely keep the rain. I do not want rain. It's not rained here in a while, so that's something. Same technique, different size. We're working with different beads. Well, we're not working with different beads. We're just working with fewer of them. So I'm going to grab one of those 3mm round pink quartzes. And what I love about this strand is the variation in colourway. I've added one bead onto the end of my tail of wire, and this was around about 12 to 14 inches of that 22 gauge. You'd probably need just a little bit more for big hoops. This is probably going to be more than we need to get all the way around this dinky hoop today. 60 degrees in Eastern Tennessee and dry for a change. Roberta has joined us. Hello and welcome. So once you've got your bead sitting, and you can use any of the shapes. If you remember, I shared with you the gorgeous rock candy, where I've got 3mm cubes, 3mm rondelles, and 3mm rounds, which are all absolutely perfect for this design. They will sit slightly differently, but the round is what I'm sharing with you today. So push that bead down to the outside of your hoop, hold it with your non-dominant hand, and draw the tail of wire underneath. So with this design, you're always switching from the top of your hoop through the bead, take the wire underneath the hoop. So push that in, and then we're going to pull over the top and round, and we'll do that 4 times. So that's once, twice, 3 times, and a 4th time. Now you can, as I mentioned earlier, use 24 or 26 gauge for this technique. The reason I like to use 22 is that once your bead is set with a 22 gauge wire, it's much less likely to wibble or wobble around. 24 gauge, also ideal. 26 gauge, it's much easier to get it to do the things, but you'll find that you handle the wire quite a lot. So your 22 gauge is ideal, because your 26 gauge will get too warm and will become a little bit fragile if you don't treat it with absolute respect. So if you're newer to wire working or you want an easy day, 22 or 24 gauge. Slide the next bead into position. Hi, Jem and Sarah, says Roberta. Welcome. Sarah, did the October box get sent out? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It will be with you very soon. I can't wait for you to see that because it's lovely. Am I allowed to show any of the box, Sarah, or no? Because I've got a handful of pieces set up and I'm going to record a video for you all tomorrow featuring the October box. And I just want to get Sarah's okay to show you just a handful of the goodies. No, not yet. Here's the card. The card's really pretty. That's all you get to see today. So let's take the next step, shall we? I've brought my next bead into position. It sits down against the outside of the hoop. Hold it with your non-dominant hand. Draw the tail of wire underneath and push that up through. Pull that firmly back over the top and you've set your bead in position. Now, there are 2 ways that you can run this technique. You can either post the end of the wire up through the hoop and then pull that all the way around, making sure that that's nice and tight. But my preferred technique when using 22 gauge is to just push the leading edge through and then grab and pull. You actually handle the wire a lot less if you do this. And there we've got 4 more wraps. All you will do for this technique is continue all the way around. When you get to the far end, wrap 4 times and you are done. So that is the technique that I've shared with you. It's exactly the same all the way around. I just didn't want to sit there and continually chatter on. What I'm going to do now is grab another one of those beautiful pink cube beads. I think these are dropping tomorrow, maybe? They are gorgeous. They are gorgeous. I know I'm naughty, but I didn't want to not use them because they're lovely. So you've seen how to make the multicolour big hoops. Let's show you how to make the slightly more diminutive ones. And of course, you could use whichever ear hook you like, but I'm demonstrating today with these fantastic safety ear wires. So we're going to start again with some of that 18 gauge round wire. Now I've got again around about 12 inches, which is far more than we need, but it just happens to be on my desk, so I'm running with it for now. We're going to start off in exactly the same way as we did with the first hoop by rotating those wires all the way around. We've got a short side and we've got a long side. Now what I want to do here is just make sure that I'm really happy with that size. Again, if you don't have one of these to hand, you can use a thick marker pen, or you could even use your ring mandrel, but just pop a pencil mark on it. If your ring mandrel is wooden, a pencil mark is ideal because you can simply buff it off later, or if you don't mind lots of little marks. If your ring mandrel is gauged like this beauty that we had from summer camp, then you will be able to recreate the hoop using a measurement, which is always handy. Got to find out where I took that from now. I'm not quite sure where it came from. Now, with this design, what we need to do is add some strength to that round form. A couple of ways you can do that. You can actually, let me flip that over a second, pull that really, really tight, and then you can gently tap with a nylon head hammer, if you have one, to get some strength into that round form. Or you can ensure that it's pulled really, really firmly and that you're happy with that shape. And then you can do the om-nom technique. The om-nom technique, which is this. We're going to very, very gently use our pliers to apply a little bit of work hardening and strengthening to that rounded form. Now that doesn't look quite perfect to me, so I'm just going to give that a little tiny moment just to make sure I'm happy. Let me see if I can reach. Oh, where are you? Here we go. So, have you seen these before? Aren't they cool? So these have got a little bit of nylon in them. So although they're round nose pliers, I'm going to use the nylon aspect to just use a little bit of noise therapy as well. When you're making that noise, you're also strengthening the wire, which is quite handy. Or you can do that on a block which is buried under a pile of stuff for winter camp, which is coming up in just a handful of days. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Add a little bit of work hardening. Basically, you could do a little bit of tip tap onto a steel block with a hammer if you have one. Now what we're going to do is add in our beads. Now, sometimes you just need to make sure that the rest of your wire is nice and warm. We're going to start on the short end, and I'm going to put in one of these beautiful gold spacers. Sarah said, "Do you think these will be useful?" And I said, "Yes, send a physical ton. Metric or imperial, don't mind. They are so handy." And then I'm going to add on just a series of beads. So I've gone for 4 of the little gold spacers, which are incredibly useful, Sarah. And then I'm going to go for 3 of these beautiful pinky cubes, which I think are dropping tomorrow, but I might be wrong. Let's add in another one of those gorgeous gold spacers. Then we're going to go for our final pink cube. I know it's very boring watching me thread beads on. At least they're going on today. Sometimes I can sit here for hours dropping the beads. Last little bead going into position now. So we've threaded our beads onto that little round shape that we've created. Now, if you want to make them smaller, you absolutely can, but you just do need to be very, very soft and gentle. When you're working with beads, beads obviously have a drill hole running through them. So the drill hole runs directly through the center of this bead. And the distance between the drill aperture on either side will define how small, by maths. I don't do maths. I'm very, very poor at maths. My son is incredibly talented at maths and I just can't. But that will define how small your hoop shape can go before you can no longer move the bead around. So this is probably just under 1 inch across, and the beads move beautifully. Much smaller than that, and I think they would probably move less happily. But what you can obviously do is switch over to some of the other beads from the Magical Emporium collection, because the larger beads have larger drill holes. Just a thought. So let's turn the long tail of wire up at 90 degrees, and that is exactly the same way that we formed the hoop for the first earring. Do you make something every day, says Anne? Yes. And don't worry, everybody puts Jen. I know I'm Jem. I'm not offended. It's usually autocorrect. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate you hugely. Yes, my name is Jem with an M. There we go. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, but this time we're not sitting on the mandrel. So what we'll need to do is to grip across the shorter tail of wire and pull the wire back on itself so that it goes around that upright. And if you remember, let me just get this out of the way. That's exactly the same technique as we employed to create the hoop. So I'm just going to push that by hand into position. And you can see that even though the wire is springy, because you've warmed it, it's very accommodating. You can give that a bit of a squish if you need to. Now, in order to stop the hoop from shrinking when you bring the tail of wire around, what I'm going to do is grip very firmly and just draw the wire across the back to begin with. If I hold the side of wire that is going into the turnaround section, it can't shrink. That hoop can't shrink. I've got a really good grip on it now. And in holding this against where the action is happening, where that twisting around the upright wire is happening, that cannot now be drawn into the spiral because I've got it with my pliers. It's not going anywhere. So I'm going to draw that around one more time. It might get a bit gappy, and if it does, you can very, very gently, don't squish your fingers because that really hurts. That's a blue air moment if you ever do that. So just be very, very careful. I'm going to trim the end away again. Loads of wire spare. I did say it would be more than enough, didn't I? The little itty bitty 4mm round beads are perfect for wire workers. Yes, yes, they are. They are beautiful. They're in silver or gold. Either way, I love to mix metals, as you can tell by the fact that I have silver wire, gold beads. That's quite a common theme in my jewellery. So let's compress that spring down until it's nice and neat and tidy. If you wanted to, you could then add in one of these little beads. Let me show you the lovely little pot that they come in. Well, okay, I don't know if they come in this pot. Mine did. So let's add one of those up at the top, shall we? Silver or gold, doesn't matter. They all are very beautiful and handy. So let's just slide this bead down onto the top. And we're finishing in exactly the same way as we did with the first design. So it's one basic technique to make the hoop, which is exactly the same on both designs, and then two ways of adorning it. So again, we're just going to grip across so that when we make that right angle bend, it's in the same orientation as the hoop itself. I would love to see a show on all the bits being repurposed. Have I got my shaky pot? Hang on a sec. Hold on, hold tight. This is where all the itty bits of wire go, and some other random things as well. They get turned into little S shapes, little spirals, and then they sit in this box. Sometimes they get beads on them, and at some point in time, that'll be made into a piece of jewellery that features leftovers, basically. So nothing goes to waste, my love. Let's get that little bead back into position. Grab those round nose pliers again. And then rotate, rotate, rotate until we've made a little loop. Now we do want that loop to sit square at the top. A little bit of a squish. And when I say a little bit of a squish, we're not squishing where the wires cross over. I'm going to draw that down ever so slightly. I'm going to hold that form without squishing where the wires cross over. And I'm going to draw the wire all the way around. Now you will notice how easy that was. Even though I've got springy wire, because you warm it first, it behaves. Now, in an alternative to the design I created for you on before the show, rather, I'll show you a little bit of an added extra because we've got some time before I show you the Magic Emporium beads again. If you want to highlight this gorgeous little gold bead up at the top, the wire's at the back of the neck of the design right now. I love the haloing technique, so I'm going to bring it over the front. And I'm going to lay it over the top of the wrap I did above the hoop. So I'm just switching my grip now so that I can hold on to that wire around the outside of that bead. And I'm going to overlayer over the top of that first wrap. So you get a chunkier wrap at the bottom, but you also get just little halo going around the side. And if you make it slightly wonky, you can soon straighten it up. So I'm going to bring that to the rear of the design and trim away, making sure that you look twice, cut once, more wire for the scrap pot, more wire for my fun projects later. And then we're just going to tuck that end neatly down against the core wire. So there you have a couple of different design ideas for hoop earrings. What do you think? Did you like them? Let me move the scrap into the scrap pot. I will just continue that one later on, but that's a really quick make, even if you're nervous of working with wire. Dun, dun, dun. Shaky box. It is a shaky box, Anne. Absolutely. Roberta says, silver and gold makes me think Burl Ives. Showing my age now, but love that Christmas show. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. I do apologise. I'm just going to pop these little beauties up to the top so that if you have any questions about them, you can absolutely ask. The other one, the little one like this, has got so much stuff coming off it. I don't want to pop it on screen because it'll catch on everything. But I do want to just refer back to Magic Emporium. Oh my goodness. I like the smaller hoops, says Stephanie. They're glamorous, aren't they? Glamorous and elegant. So like I demonstrated, you can make the big flashy hoops the same size. You can make little diminutive versions if you wanted to. Rudolph the reindeer, perhaps. So we've got some gorgeous 2-loop connectors and this fantastic little screw connector just there. Really, really beautiful. It's almost like a Rajasthani garnet in there. Stunning. So we've got 3 different flavors of these diamond-shaped connectors. I've got a rose quartzy one. I've got a peachy morganite one. And I've also got this almost peach aventurine colorway. They are stunning. They are dropping very, 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 very soon. Then I've got this London blue topaz colorway double loop connector. Absolutely stunning. All you need to do is slap that on some ear wires. Nothing experienced at all. You can make very, very beautiful jewelry very, very simply. I've also got that one, which I've already shown you, and those gorgeous triangles, which feature pins for ear piercings rather than hooks. I know some people prefer pins. Let's pop those up here for now and have a quick look at the beautiful Magic Emporium strand. How lush are they? Then I've got this fantastic twist step faceted strand in a 2-tone pink and this sultry grey. Again, it reminds me of topaz that's being treated with let me think, what would you put over topaz to make it that colorway? Like a mercury topaz or something. Really, really stunning strands. Absolutely gorgeous. Glistening in the light. Perfect for any time of the year, but I'm loving it for winter. I've also received this blue skies and fluffy white clouds strand. How lush are they? Makes me think of the Caribbean. And then I have this beautiful, I'm thinking this is multiple petal drops. I don't know what it's called. Multiple petal drops is what I'm calling it. Sarah can correct me as and when. The beads that I use today, I have got pink quartz. I have got emerald quartz. Cat's eye apatite. And I've also got these fantastic, not yet landed, but soon will. It's like a grown-up fuchsia 2-tone gemstone bead. Now, they, on the back of the hand, are so cold. Beautiful sign of a lovely gemstone material. So you've got some beads that have been destranded there. We've also got rock candy. It's not a song, but you know what? I'll make it a song if I can. So I have got 3mm in rondelles, in cubes, and in beautiful, glorious rounds. I've got some teeny tiny garnets there. They are utterly stunning. I've got red jasper. I've got lavicite, also known as black labradorite. I've got unikite. I have got opalite. And down here, last but not least, I have got the most gorgeous purple, because purple is the best colour, amethyst. So I am still here. I'm going to give you a quick wave before I love you and leave you for the day. I hope that you have enjoyed our Magic Emporium presentation today, along with those stunning rock candy strands. If you have any questions at all about the techniques or about the gemstones that you've seen in today's show that was broadcast live on YouTube and Facebook, so just find me on Facebook. That's where I will respond to tags. And if you have any questions at all, give me a shout. I can't wait to see you again very, very soon. What's my next show? Okay, my next live is on the 19th, so a week today. And that will, oh, I'm not going to tell you what that's featuring. That's so exciting. Absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to that. And then we've got a video coming up very, very soon featuring, am I allowed to show the card? I'm going to show the card anyway. I might get into trouble with Sarah. I'm not allowed to show you the box yet, though. October's Magical Mystery Bead Box has been freed. If it's not on your doorstep right now, it will be very, 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 very soon. And it is an absolute peach. It's a stunner. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It's been my pleasure. My name is Jem. This is Jessie James Beads with Magic Emporium, Rock Candy, and All Heart. I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now, guys.